Hey guys, what's happening? This is Stream Tom. Today I'm going to talk about my first impressions for Lord of the Rings Online Legendary Server. So I've been having a lot of fun with the Lord of the Rings Online Legendary Server. I've been playing on Anor with my guild Murdering Dudes. If you happen to be a Shrimp fan and you want to join in the server and join a fun and positive guild, then feel free to shoot me a tail in game on either my character Stream Tom or Stram Tam. So far I've been playing, it's been pretty good. I've gotten one character up to level 50 and pretty much done all of the end game content at this point, even though it's only been a few weeks. And I've been leveling a rune keeper as well. I've also mastered some crafting disciplines, and so I am going to be kind of giving my thoughts and opinions about how the server has been going so far and how I've been feeling about it. In the background you can just check out some Rift action. I have had the chance to do Rift and some raids and stuff, so yeah, it's been pretty good. The game has been pretty good to me so far. So to start with the things that I really enjoyed about it, I liked the leveling a lot. Just starting out in Heir of the Wind and getting to retake in the beginning of the game and just taking your time. It was definitely a surprise when I got to finishing off pretty much the last quest in Heir of the Wind, finishing off Kill a Duel, and I was still only level 13. I was like, that's weird. This is strange. I feel like I should be higher level. And then heading over into Bree and really feeling the urge to go and do quests all over the place, whether it's going over not just into western Bree fields, but then also heading into the northern Bree fields, taking out some orc camps, hanging out with the turtles over there, going over into the lone lands and clearing up pretty much everything, actually having to do Trestle Bridge instead of skipping straight to Estelden. I really enjoyed playing all the different areas in the game. I also like the fact that there are people everywhere. Just everywhere you went, there's just people en masse. It was just fantastic. It was so cool to see all these people just running around, climbing all over top of everything, fighting for mobs. Well, sometimes it could definitely be frustrating to run into an area and have a boss not really spawn, or the number of areas where everyone has to collect the same item and the item doesn't really respawn. Sure, that was frustrating. But for the most part, it was pretty exciting to see all sorts of different people, and it definitely felt really good when you could kind of combine with groups of people to take down either a more difficult monster or do a difficult quest. Now for me, I kind of grinded all the way to level cap pretty much in the first week. It took me 7 days to get to level 50, and on the 7th day, when I popped level 50, it was just fantastic. I felt great, part of the 1%, you know, the people at actually at the level cap. So it was a pretty good experience. The Legendary server is also very interesting because a lot of people are playing tanks and healers because they're aware of the requirement and the reliance for those types of classes at endgame. So there's definitely no shortage of minstrels, no shortage of lore masters, no shortage of guardians or wardens once you hit level cap. Funnily enough, there's actually a shortage of hunters, it seems. There's definitely not enough ranged classes and people playing those types of things at in-game, although I'm sure those people are just leveling at a different pace. I also really enjoy seeing all the people leveling at different paces and doing things at different times, even within my own guild. I'm level 50, the next person after me is like 25, I think. So everyone going at their own pace is definitely a very interesting way to kind of see the game, and having people not rush to the end. It's pretty cool. I have one character that I pretty much rushed to get to cap as fast as possible, but my second character I've definitely been smelling the roses, getting to try out everything as a rune keeper, and it's been really, really enjoyable. Something I appreciated that I didn't realize was the case is once you hit endgame, and you get all the way up to level 50, there are special legendary deeds and titles and quests that give you like bonuses. So you get like little tokens and you can trade them in for special rewards. So the tokens you get by pretty much just doing endgame gear or endgame content while it's relevant. You can turn the coins in for special titles or for portraits, or I think there's a horse. So I really like the fact that there was extra care put in the fact that, hey, this is a legendary server. If you got to level 50 and started doing the endgame, you should be rewarded for it. Now, not everything was perfect about the legendary server. There were a couple things I actually didn't really like that much. They definitely started to grow on me a little bit later, but I'll kind of start going into detail here. First, it was extremely easy. Now, of course, I was playing as a warden, so there's definitely some bias there. Wardens are the solo kings, but I never ran into a single problem while I was a warden. The first time I actually died, it was in Angmar. It was in the Imlad Balcorth swamp, whatever you call it. It was on the western side, and it turns out if you touch the green water, you instantly die, which is what happened to me. I fought an elite master and some elites at the same time on level. I didn't die to them, and then I touched the green water and I died, which felt really dumb. Yeah, so the game so far, at least as a warden, has been exceptionally easy. I've never ran into a challenge. I could fight pretty much anything I wanted at any time. The amount of damage I was doing was absolutely insane. It felt like there was very, very little balance. And then once I actually hit 50, it sort of got a little bit worse. The landscape, had always been considerably easy for me being a warden. Joining a group and going into Urgarth and then going into Karn Doom and finding out that I can pretty much just solo them. In fact, I soloed Urgarth the other day. Yeah, it was not the greatest experience. And then pretty much all the gear that drops out of Carndoom and Irregarth is not good at all because the stats are all over the place. So craftable gear, there's pretty much no reason to use it. There are some exceptions. Metalsmiths can apparently actually make powerful gear, but the tailoring and jewel crafty that I did, all jewel craft recipes and all tailoring recipes are significantly worse than landscape gear, especially that you get from Eregion. And the fact that, like, Eregion, which is just in the south, the quest gear from Eregion is better than all the raid gear. It's better than all the gear in every other part of the game. So if you want to have endgame gear, just go run around in Eregion and do the quests, and you'll have the best gear in the entire game, which is kind of screwy. So I didn't really like that. And if you watch the video here in the background, this is kind of like a pug rift. We just grabbed 12 guys. I was the only tank. There was one healer, and we still beat the rift. We didn't have hope for the Balrog fight, and we still beat the rift. So I will say that I have done all the endgame content, but it doesn't really feel that challenging. Now, this isn't to say there's absolutely no challenging things. You can place your own challenges on yourself by trying to solo things that you probably shouldn't solo, or by doing the actual tier 2s. There are some tier 2s like Halls of Night as well as Inn of the Forsaken. Those things are actually fairly challenging, but outside of that, there's pretty much no challenge in the endgame. Whether it's intentional or not, I don't think it is. I think it's probably just a balance issue. It definitely kind of made it feel a little bit worse when I got to endgame and I found out that you don't really need a tank and you don't really need a healer to do anything unless you're trying to do tier 2s. Or I guess in the raid you need like a tank and a healer and then everyone just does DPS. Like in the Rift, when bosses are dying in like less than 30 seconds, it just felt weird. So since I've been playing the game and having that experience, the real question is, well, what do I want now? If I was to change the Legendary server, what changes would I make to make it better? To start out, I would say that endgame, I would reduce all player damage by 70% or increase mob health by about 400%. The reason for this is simply that players do way too much damage at endgame. When I did the Rift, I never needed to know the mechanics. No one needed to know actually how to do it or what to do because the monsters just died. Sure, maybe they summoned ads, sure, maybe they did this, but everything just died pretty much instantly. So I think player damage is way out of whack. Warden damage is just insane. My dots are doing 800, 900 damage every 4 seconds, and I can stack 5 of them. So it's way too strong. So I think the players need to be reduced in strength. The scaling needs to go back a lot. That would go a long way to help make the endgame feel a little bit more rich and alive. I think that crafting should probably be fixed. I think that if all gear, craftable gear, had stats like metalsmithing stats did, so tailoring was actually useful. It doesn't have to be the best gear in the game, but I should feel better by crafting myself some gear than doing quests in Ogair and getting gear that is 10 levels lower than the craftable gear, but significantly higher in stats. Additionally, I would make more dungeons have tier 2 modes. I know that dungeons do have tier 2 modes, whether it's Anuminas or Greater Barrows or other things. However, these things don't have tier 2s at level 50 on the Legendary server. The only tier 2s are Halls of Night and Inn of the Forsaken. So I would make it so you got School and Library tier 2, Anuminas tier 2, Greater Barrows tier 2. Give me more things to do other than grind out the easy dungeons and then wait till it resets. And then finally, I would buff up the raid gear and make the raid gear better than the gear in Eregion. Eregion currently has the best gear, items that give physical mastery, tactical mastery, which is weird. They have the best weapons just by doing the quests, and the quests are not group quests, they're all solo. As well, I would also make it so that the raid gear is not purchasable from the vendors. I think that would be kind of cool. There's too many dungeons where you don't get anything from it. A great example is at Greater Barrows. It doesn't drop any items, it just gives you marks, and then you trade the marks in for gear, but it should just drop you items. I think that would be kind of nice if you just did the dungeon and got the items. Or same thing, the Heligrad gear, you don't have to do Heligrad. You could just go to the guys in Rivendell and just buy all the gear. And then also fix the raid gear. The Heligrad raid gear set for Warden, which kind of sucks, gives a bonus to 2 skills I don't get until, I think it's 58 and 74 respectively. The cap is 50. My level 50 raid set gives me bonuses to skills I don't get until the Mines of Moria expansion comes out. Overall, it sounds like I'm complaining a lot. I did level to 50 in 7 days. I had a blast. Please don't let me dissuade you by thinking that this isn't fun, it wasn't a good experience. It was awesome. I am still playing every day, logging in a little bit at a time, and I'm really enjoying the experience. But I do think there are things that do need to be sharpened up, and hopefully those things will get changed over time. That's something I'm definitely looking forward to as the expansions start to roll out. Anyway, guys, that's pretty much all I have for today. Have you played the Legendary server? Have you had the chance to try it out? What do you think? What are your first impressions? Let me know what you think, and I'm going to probably read some comments. Or not. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to do something. Anyways, that's all I have for now. So thank you guys for watching, and I will watch you next time. through the video. That'd be weird. That'd be a weird thing, wouldn't it? I'm not going to do that. That'd be weird, wouldn't it? Like if it was watching you. Okay, I'm going to cut the video. Tharlok's blade. Oh, we got a Tharlok.